Howdy folks, hope everybody doing real good. Pork loin biscuit and gravy on the menu this morning. I think a lot of times this is referred to as a pork chop biscuit, but I have a hard time with that. To me, a pork chop has got to have a bone in it. For this, I've got some pork loin that I've went through and cut off about 1/4 inch thick. I keep pork loin in the freezer quite a bit, and I just cut it off as I need it. You can buy boneless pork chops. When you're looking at a pork chop, the side that's got the most meat on it, this is the loin. The other side would be the fillet or the tenderloin. And there's also a tenderloin biscuit that can be made, and they're really good too. And a tenderloin biscuit's got a thicker, crunchier crust on it, and then when you bite into it, you got this nice, tender, just juicy, savory piece of pork. That's not what we're doing today. We're doing a pork chop or pork loin biscuits and gravy. Gonna be extra good. So if you buy the boneless pork chops and they're a little thick, just pound them down a little bit and then cut them the way you want them. I got a can of biscuits back here. You're gonna need some flour. We're gonna dredge these up in a little bit of flour. We're gonna season it with some Lowry's. Get a little pepper in there. We're going to get them browned up real good, get them out of the skillet, and then we're going to put together a sausage gravy. And for the sausage gravy, obviously you're going to need some sausage, you're going to need some milk. We're going to use some of that flour to make a roux. I've got some butter right here. We're going to melt, we're going to brush the top of those biscuits a little bit, and I'm going to put just a little bit of sage in that sausage gravy. So very simple, pretty quick, delicious breakfast. Let's get to cooking. First thing we're going to do is get these biscuits laid down. I've got this sheet pan buttered up pretty good. I'm going to set them about 1 inch apart. We're going to get them in the oven and get them baking, then we'll get these pork chops frying. Pour just a little bit of milk over this pork loin, so got something this will stick to a little bit. We're going to go in and season it up with some Lowry's. Just a little black pepper in. We're not going to season the pork loin at all. The seasoning is going to be in the flour. So you want to make sure you get it seasoned pretty good. Get a little bit more in. We're going to get our pork chop in. We're just going to lightly dredge these. We're not trying to get thick batter or anything on them. Just make sure they're coated evenly, light flour. Just like it. Looking pretty good. I'm going to lay them over here in the skillet. Alright, so when you're cooking these, when you first lay them down, they just normally sizzling. And then you start getting a lot of extra sizzling like that right there, where the moisture is running out of the pork. And that prevents browning. Now this is kind of calming down, so this is the part where you really start getting your browning. And I just turn them a time or two until they get nice and brown. That one right there is looking real good. I'm going to set it over here. This one looking good. And this one's looking pretty good. I'm going to set them over here on this rack, let them drip. These other two dropped in here. So this is the first stage of the frying, basically. You can see how it's just bubbling around the sides. There's no explosions. There's nothing going on. This will carry on like this for a couple of minutes till the flour sets up, until the internal temperature of the pork comes up to a certain point where the water's trying to run from heat. Then you'll start getting all that popping around the sides. That'll last for a couple of minutes, and then that's when you start getting your actual browning. Once all this moisture escapes and you get it out of the pork, that's when you can really brown these up beautifully. Get these brushed up. That is an unsalted butter. I always go on here and just kind of put a little salt on the top, make them extra good. Those looking pretty good. I'll pour this grease out of here. Got our skillet wiped out. We're going to get this sausage in. We got the sausage browned up pretty good. I've got some of this melted butter left. I'm going to get that in there. And we're going to get some of this flour that we dredged with in. Do about a tablespoon and a half. Needs a little bit more oil. Needs a little bit more oil. Let this flour cook here a minute or two, and we'll get some milk in. It's looking pretty good. Get the milk added. About a cup and a half. We're going to let this come up to a simmer and thicken. We got to get some pepper in here. Put some pepper on it. Nice little amount of pep. Give this a little taste. Oh, we gotta get some sage in. I almost forgot. Get that in there before we give it a taste. I'm gonna put about a quarter or half a teaspoon. We're just gonna sage this up a little bit. A little bit thick. Add a little more milk. That's looking pretty good. Give it another taste. Gonna be good on that pork loin biscuit. pork chop biscuit looking pretty good. I'm going ahead and get a hit and see how it's talking. Delicious. That is regular folks approved. Simply seasoned with that Lowry's. That sausage gravy on there. It takes it over the top. That's it, folks. Pork chop gravy biscuit. I call it pork loin gravy biscuit. Till next time. Peace.